terms of background, my degrees are in biochemistry, just bachelor's and master's. I'm not a PhD. Then I've done a number of things. I've worked in policy in the state legislature in Wisconsin. I've worked as a science writer. I've taught chemistry and biochemistry and environmental chemistry at a community college in Arizona. When we came to Boulder, I ran a research lab at the university on the structure of proteins with the nuclear magnetic resonance, where we watch proteins move. And so it's that concern for life and what's going to be happening on the planet during my children and grandchildren's time that has really driven me to basically drop everything and work full-time on climate change. And there's this group that started in Boulder, and we have people all over the state, and now we're working with people all over the country who are fighting this next generation of coal plants. And in addition,
Clean Energy Action's first meetings were small and usually held in someone's kitchens. Its members were a diverse group, some with technical expertise or political savvy, others had legal backgrounds or academic credentials. They shared a passion to decarbonize our electric grid.
We're not very well organized, as it turns out. We've been very effective, but not very well organized in my mind.
They'll actually become depressed. It doesn't, you've got to transform concern into action.
So you got to make people aware of it now. It's coming. You don't want, as Dan said, you don't want to.
If we, what I call it is the campaign of 1,000,000 leaders. If we all exercise leadership in some way or another, like writing letters to the editor, writing these op-eds.
The Clean Air New Jobs Bill that actually proposes getting rid of about 900 megawatts of coal-fired power on the Front Range.
An organization that pushes the needle and then helps push legislation, push political leaders in a direction that supports clean energy, even if it's not the most popular route to take.
It all comes down to information and education, I think.
By 2009, Clean Energy Action's new board members were firmly in place. Their support energized Leslie's educational campaign.
Our philosophy has been that as we move XL, we move not only all the other utilities in Colorado, we move all of the utilities nationally. When Dick Kelly goes to the big, CEO meetings for the utilities of the country, and he says, yeah, we just supported 30% by 2020 in Colorado. Who better to carry the message to the utility industry than a utility CEO? So we work on moving XL, and then we trust that XL is going to move everybody else.
Then finally, we just so you know, we asked XL, well, if you're having problems getting coal from Wyoming to your existing coal plants, what analyses have you done of how you're going to get coal to this new coal plant? It's a 50-year commitment to needing basically 4 million tons of coal a year. And the answer came back from XL. No such analyses have been conducted. It's an oversight of monumental proportions. It's just astounding that these folks wear business suits, frankly. I just gotta say. Sorry. It's gotta be business 101. I've never had a business course in my life, but what I say, you don't set up a lemonade stand unless you're sure you got lemonade.
Acting as a private citizen, Leslie Glustrom appealed XL Energy's rate increase for the new Unit 3 power plant. In a case that pitted one citizen against a team of corporate lawyers, Glustrom found XL's witnesses to be well rehearsed and less than forthcoming.
My name is Leslie Glustrom. I'm a citizen representing myself. All right, can you relate the equity and debt structure of the other utilities that contribute to Xcel Energy and or the equity debt structure for the parent company itself?
Not specifically.
Did you review recent SEC filings for Public Service Company of Colorado and pay a special attention to the net income for Public Service Company of Colorado?
No, I did not.
And after one day of watching what was going on, I went home in great disgust. And I said to my husband, we could bring God into that hearing room and they wouldn't change their minds.
Just as important.
Clean Energy Action board members meet regularly to discuss their work on several fronts. Their knowledge and research of political and technical issues play a pivotal role changing state and local energy policy.
So it's just about helping the city of Boulder know there are options and also know there's a discussion, there's a topic.
I'm really interested in a CCA simply not just to get the city officials to think about it more concretely in terms of what can we do, but also to get citizens around the city to say, you know, this is silly for us to take it for granted that we should just renew the franchise.
Remind me what CCA is?
Community choice energy aggregation, in which a city acquires for itself the right to basically acquire its energy the way it pleases.
But natural gas, you know, complements renewables so much better. And once again, we have the opportunity to really set the example for the entire country.
As part of Clean Energy Action's educational program, key players in the energy field are invited to update their members and the public at monthly meetings.
If Boulder wants to achieve its carbon reduction goals, and it can't, because the regulatory system or the legal system prevents it from doing so.
So I talked to this group about 3 years ago, I think, and you were a tiny little group meeting in the community room at the Reynolds Branch Library. And if this is a normal turnout, this is really phenomenal.
So part of the solution here is for everybody to call their congressman or their congresswoman and say, get off your butt, put a real price on coal, and once we start paying the real price of coal, then everything else will just work out. I really believe that, and that would solve all of this fighting. Although I always...
So excited to see our community coming together, getting clear about what it means to decarbonize and why it's good to move from black to green, why it's bad to be addicted. I mean, who thinks, you know, when you're addicted to whatever it is, cocaine or LSD, whatever you might be addicted to, you start to think, how can I live without it? And the truth is, life is so much better when you move beyond your addiction.
Clean Energy Action's demands to decarbonize don't stop at the local and state level. Glustrom goes right to the top.
I work at Channel 9. Obviously, you know Secretary Chu and Senator Udall. They're going to be the ones who are answering your questions. So without any further ado, ma'am, I'll allow you to address your question, please.
Secretary Chu, those of us that come out of science just loved your talk. All that data. It was awesome. Thank you so much. There's a very important piece of data for our country. That is the amount of coal that's economically accessible. And with all due respect, your department is flat wrong. It's not because of you, it's because of how your department has been doing it. And they acknowledge that they're not doing it correctly. We can show you precisely where that is. Ironically, it's Colorado's Secretary Salazar who has the really good data on economically accessible coal. And since you obviously love data, I'm wondering if you'd be willing to commit to analyzing that USGS data and that BLM data and really get us a good analysis of our country's coal supplies so we don't make a monumental mistake there also. And of course, I'd be happy to help, sir.
I will commit to reading that report. I love reading stuff like that.
It's such a cool report.
What our immediate needs at this point are organizational, that we really need to sort of tighten up the organization, make sure that we indeed survive.
Staying ahead of the curve and remaining cutting edge in energy legislation, I think, is really where CEA is going to try to position itself and where they can continue to provide value.
One of our mantras is, when the people lead, the leaders follow. This is about action, this is not about spectating, and I hope as you go home tonight, as you think about how you can help move this conversation forward, I'm hoping you'll remember, and there are many other stories. I just sort of decided to pick